referred to as diaphragmatic breathing. Of all the pranayama techniques, I chose diaphragmatic breathing because it is the one that you can incorporate as a lifestyle with practice, as muscle memory will turn it into your normal way of breathing. Before we discuss what diaphragmatic breathing is, we need to discuss what it's not, and that is clavicular breathing, which is the mode of breathing that we all have basically adopted since we were infants. And the reason being is that as we grow, we develop stress and we get busy lifestyles, and we forget how to breathe naturally. So we have to get back to that because there are numerous benefits, many, really too many to discuss for this little discussion here. But basically, it's greater for increasing your vital capacities, which is a great thing for people with COPD disorders or asthma. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the branch of your autonomic nervous system, which will help you with decreasing your heart rate, your blood pressure, thus decreasing anxiety and depression. So there are many great health benefits to breathing properly and getting back to breathing naturally. So clavicular breathing is the type of breathing that basically we all do throughout the day. And the reason why it's not good is because it's inefficient. It uses a lot of accessory muscles that we really don't need to use so much when we breathe, such as your scalenes and your sternocleidomastoideus, which are in your neck, your subclavicle muscles. The muscles we really need to be using are our intercostal muscles and our diaphragm. The primary muscle of breathing is your diaphragm, and what that is, it's a dome-shaped muscle that separates your thoracic from your abdominal cavity. It contracts when we inhale, pushing down on your abdominal cavity, opening up space for your lungs to expand. So if I were to ask people, and I've done this so many times, to take in a deep breath, what I see is everybody raises their chest. Well, that's using all of these muscles that we really don't need to use that I was talking about. What we should do when I say take in a deep breath is only see our abdomen move, because remember, our diaphragm is pushing down on our abdomen. And I eliminate it using all of these muscles, which create, by the way, a lot of stress in our neck and shoulders. And that's why people have so much tension in there, because we're using them all the time, 24/7. And we really don't need to be using them so much. So that's the basic anatomy. A little bit about physiology we need to understand about a respiratory system. It's very complex, but basically we're just going to talk about the principle of diffusion. And that is, whenever there's a greater concentration of one thing, it wants to go to an area where there aren't so many of those things. In this example, we're talking about air molecules. So imagine blowing up a balloon, and you're pinching the balloon at the neck. And that balloon is going to hold its shape because there are so many more air molecules concentrated inside the balloon than there are relative to the molecules outside of the balloon. Now, diffusion states that the air molecules in this example want to find an equilibrium. So wherever there's a higher concentration of one thing, it is naturally going to flow out to relax. So when you release your fingers from the bottom of the balloon, you don't need to squeeze the balloon to have it deflate. It will automatically deflate by itself because of diffusion. The greater amount of molecules inside the balloon want to get out of there. That's basically the way our lungs work. When we fill up our lungs with a lot of air, they naturally want to deflate, and that air molecules in your lung, they want to get out into the atmosphere. So breathing is an active process, but it really doesn't need to be as active as we make it, is my point. I always like to remind people, when you see a baby, an infant in their crib breathing, the thing that's always stuck out to me when I would watch my son breathe is that only his little tiny belly would move. Nothing else would move. Because when we're born, we naturally breathe diaphragmatically. And it's so relaxing just to watch a baby, lay in their crib and breathe. So we need to get back to that, because that's our natural way of breathing. And we can do that through practice. Lifestyle changes, they say, happen over about 10 to 12 weeks if you practice them, and muscle memory takes over. So if we can all learn how to breathe diaphragmatically again, we will all be much better off for it. Um, so how do we do diaphragmatic breathing? For some people, it's easier to lay on your back and maybe put something light, a light book on your stomach. Or you can just do it here, sitting here and putting one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly, taking a deep breath, and make sure that only your lower hand on your belly, your abdomen, is actually moving. Nothing up here should be moving. And now you're diaphragmatically breathing. Sometimes it's helpful to close your eyes and begin to relax. And that's it. It's so simple. And it's something we can all learn to redo relatively quickly. And I promise you will reap the benefits of it. Um, Thank you. Have a good day. Namaste.